In the quiet town of Elmwood, there lived a seemingly ordinary couple named James and Elizabeth Thompson. They had been married for 10 years and appeared to have the perfect marriage to their friends and neighbors. However, beneath the surface, their relationship was far from ideal. James, a successful businessman, had always been a charming and charismatic individual. He had a secret affair with a beautiful woman named Isabella, whom he had met during one of his business trips. Despite the thrill of their clandestine romance, Isabella longed for more. She wanted to be with James openly and dreamed of having a future together. James, on the other hand, was not willing to leave his wife for Isabella. As time went on, Isabella grew tired of being the secret mistress. He was content with the excitement their affair brought to his life but was unwilling to jeopardize his marriage and social status. She wanted to force James to make a choice, to leave his wife and commit to her or end their affair altogether. She knew that James valued his reputation in their small town and was terrified of scandal. So, she hatched a plan that she hoped would make James realize what he truly wanted. Isabella approached James with a proposition. She suggested that she disguise herself as a maid and come to work at his house. She reasoned that it would be the perfect way for them to be together without raising suspicion. James, who thought he had complete control over the situation, agreed to her plan without hesitation. Meanwhile, unknown to James, his wife Elizabeth had discovered his affair. She had suspected his infidelity for quite some time but lacked concrete evidence. Elizabeth was a smart and cunning woman who had been patiently gathering information and building her case against James. She wanted to make him pay for his betrayal and show him that she was not the naive and gullible woman he took her for. Elizabeth, a skilled actress, decided to play along with James's charade. She hired a private investigator to dig deeper into James's affair, collecting evidence that she knew would be the final nail in the coffin. The day arrived when Isabella, now disguised as a maid named Sarah, moved into the Thompson household. James was thrilled with the success of his plan, thinking he had cleverly deceived his wife and had complete control over the situation. Days turned into weeks, and Isabella skillfully executed her plan. She manipulated James into revealing his true intentions, recording their conversations discreetly. Meanwhile, Elizabeth played her part flawlessly. She acted as the dutiful and oblivious wife, showing no signs of suspicion or resentment towards James. She made sure that James felt comfortable in his charade, believing he had outsmarted her completely. As the weeks passed, tensions in the Thompson household grew. James became increasingly careless with his behavior, thinking that he was invincible and untouchable. He grew bolder in his interactions with Isabella, unaware of the web that was closing in on him. One fateful evening, Elizabeth decided it was time to reveal her hand. She invited several close friends and family members to a dinner party, including Isabella. The dinner party began, and the atmosphere was filled with laughter and merriment. James, ignorant of what awaited him, was at ease, mingling with the guests. As the evening progressed, Elizabeth gracefully addressed the room. She thanked everyone for attending and expressed her gratitude for their support throughout the years. Then, with a calm and collected voice, she turned her attention towards James. "James," she began, her eyes piercing through his soul, "I have something to share with everyone here tonight. Something that has been kept hidden for far too long." Elizabeth continued, her voice steady and strong. "I know about your affair, James," she declared. "I know about Isabella, and I know about the lies you've been weaving to deceive me." Gasps filled the room as the guests reacted to Elizabeth's revelation. James felt as if the ground beneath him had vanished, and he was left suspended in midair. "And what you don't know, James," Elizabeth continued, a mischievous smile forming on her lips, "is that I have been playing along this whole time. I have been gathering evidence, building my case against you." James looked around the room, seeing the judgmental gazes of their friends and family. Elizabeth pulled out a small audio player and pressed play, filling the room with James's incriminating words. The recordings Isabella had collected played for all to hear, exposing James's lies, deceit, and the depth of his betrayal. James, overwhelmed by shame and humiliation, slumped into a chair, his face buried in his hands. He had thought he had it all under control, but now he realized the depth of his foolishness. The weight of his actions bore down on him, and he realized the magnitude of the damage he had caused. As the room buzzed with whispered conversations and disapproving glances, Elizabeth maintained her composure, her eyes fixed on James. She knew that this was the pivotal moment, the turning point in their lives. It was an opportunity for James to face the consequences of his choices and reflect upon the damage he had wrought. Feeling a mixture of anger, betrayal, and sadness, Elizabeth spoke again, her voice softer but firm. "James, you have broken the sacred trust of our marriage. You have shattered the foundation of our love and partnership. What you have done is unforgivable." The weight of her words hung heavily in the air, causing James to raise his head and look directly into his wife's eyes. "I had hoped for a different ending," Elizabeth continued, her voice tinged with a hint of sorrow. "I believed in the power of redemption, in the ability to rebuild what was broken. But now, it is clear to me that we can never go back to what we had before." James, struggling to find the right words, reached out a trembling hand towards Elizabeth, his voice choked with remorse. "Elizabeth, I never meant to hurt you. Please, let me explain." But before he could utter another word, Elizabeth raised her hand, silencing him. "No, James. There are no more explanations or excuses." Elizabeth turned towards the guests, her voice gaining strength as she addressed them all. "I am grateful for the support and love that you have shown me throughout the years. Tonight, we witness the truth, and I ask that you stand by me in this moment of truth." The guests nodded in agreement, understanding the gravity of the situation. Elizabeth, no longer the meek and submissive wife, stood tall and resolute, ready to embrace a new chapter in her life. Elizabeth filed for divorce, ensuring that he would no longer have a hold on her life. She reclaimed her independence and strength, surrounding herself with loved ones who supported her. James, left to confront his mistakes, was burdened with a deep sense of regret. He realized the pain he had inflicted upon his wife, the damage he had caused to their relationship, and the missed opportunities for true happiness. Over time, James sought therapy, reflecting on his choices and their consequences. He acknowledged the selfishness and shallowness that had driven his actions. Through deep introspection, he began to understand the importance of trust, commitment, and genuine love. Isabella, having seen the extent of James's betrayal, distanced herself from him. She recognized that their affair had been built on the foundations of deceit, and she desired a more authentic connection. With time, she found healing and embarked on a journey of self-discovery, vowing to never compromise her integrity again. As the years passed, Elizabeth thrived. She channeled her pain into personal growth, pursuing her passions and finding fulfillment in her own accomplishments. She became a pillar of strength and an inspiration to others who had faced similar challenges. James, although haunted by his past actions, gradually transformed himself. He became an advocate for honesty and open communication, sharing his story to caution others against the pitfalls of infidelity. Through his own experiences, he sought to prevent others from making the same mistakes he had made. In the end, the tale of James, Elizabeth, and Isabella serves as a cautionary reminder of the consequences of betrayal and the resilience of the human spirit. It reminds us that even amidst heartbreak and despair, there is the potential for growth, redemption, and a renewed appreciation for the value of trust and genuine love.